Alright, apologies guys. So I think I was on mute. So I would go back again and actually see what I was talking about. So okay. So what I was saying is like from in this particular class we're going to focus on traditional way of using Selenium. So which is without page object, without Specflow. So we're going to actually look backward at. So this is going to be like kind of if you are working in an organization and they don't use Specflow and they don't have page object module. So what do you do? So this is what you're going to do. You're going to also work in that environment, and you need to know how to set up Selenium without having to use Specflow or without having to use any page object module. So this is what we're going to look into today. So it's going to be like very vanilla-ish, but we are not going to create a new project. We also going to use the same project that we've done. The same process applies. So 1 minute, I will quickly do this. 1 minute. So for previous one, this is the step that we took. So but if you want to do the vanilla one, you need to do step 1. You don't need step 2, which is integration of Specflow. You don't need step 2, but you need step 3. You need NuGet packages, but you don't need all NuGet packages. I'm going to tell you the one that you need to have. Of course, you need to create your folder structure, and we are not going to use feature files. We are not going to use step definition, so you don't need to do 6 and 7. So let me go through the steps, the NuGet packages that you need to do. 1 minute. For the NuGet packages, you need NUnit console, NUnit runner, and NUnit test adapter. That's fine. But of course, like I said, we are not going to be using Specflow, so you don't need 5 and 6. It's not required. Then the other bits are required. 7 to 11 are required. So that's what you need. You only don't need 6. But if you already install it also, as you're going to see even in our step, so you can as well just leave it. It's not going to do any harm at all. So let's start now. This is the project that we have before. This is the solution that we have before. So we're going to still continue using it actually. So and I would just create a new folder so that I can store that inside that folder. So let's say add new folder. So I want to create that folder inside my project. So let's say traditional Selenium. So without Specflow. Okay, so let's create a test inside this one. Right click, add new item. So now we want to create new test, basic test. So the first thing that you need to create is your unit test project class. So you can use the test template for that, and then you click on let's say I just call the test traditional Selenium. As you can see, this is basically just normal unit test class. So as it's got the test class and it's got the test method. So you can have as many test methods as possible. As you can see, it's got unit test one. So I can rename this particular test method. I can say what's to sky from validation. So that is the name of my test I want to do. So if I build my test, and you can see that that should come blue sky from validation. That's the name of the test that you are going to be doing. So then what you need to do, the first step of building your test is step one is you create instance of the browser. That's step one. Then step two, before that one, I think you might need to okay, that's fine. Then open the browser. Then number 3, to your test. Let's say whatever you want to do. So like maybe 3A. Open website. 3B. Enter a test into form. 3C. Click. Okay, let's say 3C, enter into, then select a select from the click a radio button, click 3D, click a what's it called? Select button. Okay, let's look into those steps. So which is kind of thing that you do in any automation. So, and it will be more than that. Maybe also you click on the links or something like that. But we've done that in previous tests that we did. So let's focus on this. The first instance that you need to do is you need to create an instance of your browser. If you look at previous one, we have driver.so. You will need something like iWeb driver. So maybe you call it driver. So and now you have that you can add. So then the next one is you need to say driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Okay, so those are the two things that you want to do. So let's run the test and see what this gives to us. So that should open the Chrome driver, and that's it. Okay. So that's it. So maybe then let's do at the end, step 4, close browser. So for that one, you need to say driver dot close or quit, anyone that you want. So let's run that. Okay, so that's it. So it opens the browser and it closes. So do our test. So to do our test, the first one that we need to do, we need to navigate or open, let's say navigate to a website. So now we're going to go to a website. Let me bring the website up. So we're going to use this website, just a quick form so that I've created. So it's going to be, because this form has got a lot of different elements that you can find in the form. You got a text box, which is okay, and you got email address, which is normal text box. It's got a radio button, it's got a single checkbox, it's got checklist and multi-select, and also it's got radio list select that you can drop down, and also single line text, paragraph, address, and so it's got it. So like that. So we're going to try to see go through these forms and fill in what we can fill in. We use the traditional approach. So let's carry on. Okay. So yeah, like I can say, so I'll copy this URL right now. So I said the next step is for us to navigate, right? So for us to navigate, it's a driver dot. As you can see, there are a lot of objects there. So navigate, go to URL. So which URL do you want to go to? I'll paste that in there. So, and that is that. So then that should open that URL for us. And after that, we want to enter a text into the form. So let's say the first one that we want to into a text box, rather. So our page is this. We want to enter the first name. Then we need to inspect the element. So to do that, we need to, let's say this is A1, inspect your element. So yeah, inspect your element. Then after you've inspected your element, then 3B and so 2. Decide on a property or attribute to use to find your element. Then 3C, copy the attribute. So 3B, let's say 4, then 3B5, perform the action, i.e. tag. Okay, so let's go through this one after the other. So from here, we want to enter a text into the text box. The first thing that we need to do is inspect our element. So what we need to do is go to the form, right click, inspect, or you could as well just click on this and drag your form in there, or you can press on F12. F12 will bring this particular view out for you. So but this, we want to inspect the element for the first name, okay. So and this is the element. So if you look into that element, we can see it's got different attributes. So let me delete, I don't want this one. No, sorry, let's do it again. Inspect. Okay, so it's an input and it's got text in type of text, value, it's got nothing, the class is there, so it's got an ID, so I can decide to use the ID, and it's got name, name, so you can use name, you can use, but for this I think we've done several types, but let's try to use different ways of identifying the elements. So for this one, let's try to use on ID. So we've decided that for this one, we've inspected, done. With developer 2. Okay, then this one we have decided to use ID. So then what is the ID that we want to use? So let's copy that ID. Oh, okay. That's the ID. So that's the ID that we need to use. And now we need to write our code for that. As if as you can see, I am putting this sign, which is double slash. Double slash is a comment, so the computer is not going to execute that. It just comment and is based on information that I'm giving to you. So that is irrelevant to the computer, actually to the code. So just for information basis. So the next one is write the code to find the element. So we want to say driver dot find element. So there, as you can see, I quickly mentioned, if you say dot find element, because this is another interview questions, you can see there's find elements and find elements, elements with S and elements without S. So, and if you use find element, that is going to bring the first element is going to find by your attribute that you are putting in there. But if the attribute has got more than one element, so if you use find elements, it's going to bring a list of elements that meet that criteria that you've put into your by clause. So for find elements, it's going to return only one. For find elements, it's going to return a list of elements that meet your finding criteria. So, but right now we are only interested in one element, so you use the find element. Then how? Because the last time I did this thing like that, I will show you what, because this is kind of our driver. We are actually saying, Mr. Driver, find elements for us. How do you want me to find the element? That's what Mr. Driver is asking you. So you're going to tell Mr. Driver, find it by, so by what? We said, oh, we're going to use ID. Okay, so you want me to find an element by ID, but what ID do you want me to use? So, and you open close and brackets. So we already copy our ID here. So we're going to put it in here and paste it in between the quotes. So that is what that is going to do for you. It's going to do, so let me just put some spaces because so this is easy to understand. Okay. All right, cool. So now we've written our code to find the element. This is only going to find the element for us. So, but that is not enough. We need to perform actions on that element. What exactly do we need to do? We need to type into that element. So this is the element. So we can copy what you've done here. And before our closing semicolon, we put dot. So what do you want to do? These are different actions that you can perform on that element. So we want to send keys. You want to send keys. So for this now, we want to say what do you want to type inside the text box. So let's say we want to type my first name. That is that. So, and then semicolon. So let's comment this one out so that we can see what this step will do for us, and let's run the test. So it's going to, yeah, so that's it. So as you can see, then one thing that we need to do here also, we need to maximize the screen so that we are sure that we can see other areas of the form. So to do that, let's go up quickly. After this one, let's try to say this is now our 3A1. So then, which is maximize the window. To do that, we just need Mr. Driver. So, and for some people you get confused which one is it. So if you get confused, select any one that you want, and if you don't get the context, try another one. But if not, Google is your friend. You go to manage. Let's say we went to Google and just say how to maximize window in Selenium with C#. So you should see different, yeah. So if you go in there, you're going to see what, and as you can see, is there actually driver.manage. You're going to say, yeah. So you can see that one. So we've done this before also in one of the classes in this form. So I will be using this approach also so that people will know how to find what you are looking for. So manage dot window, then maximize. That would maximize the screen for you. So then we've done that. So we've done this one. The next one that I said we should do is to select drop down. To select drop down, there are different approach that you need to do. You need to do a lot of things. One, okay, before we do that, let's try to fill in another one, another form. So let's say we do the last name also. So the same way also we can, this is the ID 27. So this one, enter the last name, no, the first name rather, and this one, enter the last name. So this is 27. So as you can see, this step is not kind of required. So it's only that I just used it for just to tell you the first step, because you need this step before you can concatenate it with your actions. So, but after you've done that, you don't need to write this step again. So, because it's already in the next one, so which is okay, but we'll leave it right now. So that's, so the first one, enter the first name, enter the last name. So let's go to the second one, which is we want to select from a drop down. To select from a drop down, you need to use a select, I think element is called. Okay, so this is on your one of the NuGet packages that you've added. It's called Selenium support. It's inside Selenium support. So you need to know, if you don't actually if you've not added Selenium support, then you won't be able to use it. So okay, so let's go and add that Selenium support UI. As you can see, is open keyway Selenium support. So I'll add that one. So then what is my, so if you don't know what we are trying to do now, what we are trying to do is we are trying to select one of these. Let's say we want to select number 1. So what do we do? So we right click as we've done, inspect our element. So, and you can see when we inspect our element, it goes to the options. But bear in mind, there is another attribute at the top of that select, which we are at the top of the option, which is select. That's what you are looking for. So as you can see, these options wrapped everything together. As you can see, it's wrapped all the options together. So the first thing you need to do is to first identify this select element, because inside this select, that's where you have the options. So for you to select anything there, you have 2 steps. The first one, you select this element, then you now, inside that element, you now select the options. Let's go through it one after the other. So the first one, let's say, let me list the step 3C1. The same thing that we've done for the one at the top, we need to find the element. Same thing with this, inspect your element. Then 3C2. Same thing with this. We need to decide on the attributes that we want to use. So we are also going to use ID. So okay, and copy the attribute. So that is 3C3. So the attribute that we're going to use is ID, and this is the ID. So bear in mind, like I said, this is going to be the select property. This is not the options. So it's the select that you have to select, you have to inspect, not the option. So then you copy the attribute ID 41. So then we need to now, as we have in here also, so let's write our code. So this is going to be a bit different from the one that we've done. So we're going to initialize our element. So, and maybe we call it a multi-select. Maybe that's the name. So let's say it is a multi-select, and we call it multi-select is equal to new select element. Then, as you can see, it's looking for a web element. So, and maybe before I do that, So let me put another step here. Let me put another step here. 3D, no, 3C5, which is the same thing. Okay, find the element. So we're going to say driver dot find element by, how do we want to find it? ID. No, sorry. So that is this one. So this finds the select element for us actually. So that's what it's going to do for you. So then, so use it. So now, because you're going to select the options, so and the options is wrapped inside this element, so we need to first create an instance of that select element, so which we already started to do. But now what do? You need to copy this element that you found and you can put it inside here. So let me minimize this. Okay, so I think there is 1 minute. So let's paste it inside. Okay, yeah. All right, cool. So that would find this select element for you. Then the next one, now you need to, so this is now 3C 5B. So let's say 3C 5C. Okay, so now select the options from the list. So how do you do that? You now have to call your select element, multi-select, whatever you call the name. This name can change. Whatever you call the name, it can change. So you need now to call that. So we've already called our multi-select, and if you put dots, you can see different options that you have. You can select all options. You can deselect all options. You can select by, deselect by index, or different things that you can do. But for us, we want to select, it's not deselecting. So, and you have options how you're going to select. You can select by index, select by text, select by value, select by options. Let's see what that means. Let's go in here. So you can see these options, it's got value. The value is 1, ONE. and the text is capital O-N-E. So it's got these two options. So you can select it by value, or you can select it by text. So this is the text that you are seeing, and the value is what you have inside. So let's say we select by value first. So and dot select by value. So open and close. What is the value? The value is O-N-E. Okay, and that's it. So let's see what that. Let's run that one. Okay, can you see? So it selected the one. That's it. So, and the same thing also, you can also select number 2. Let's say we want to do another one. Say number 2. You can do select by 2, or we want to select another one. So by this time now, we want to select number 3, but we want to use the text. So for this, you need to say 3, because as you can see from here, the one with the lowercase is the value, the one with the uppercase is the text. So let's try to run that. I'll put a breakpoint here so then we can see what is happening. Then let's debug. Okay, so and if I do F10, so let's see what happens. So one is being selected. If I do another F10, so let's see what happens. So it's now multi-selecting the second one. So if I do the next one, F10, yeah, the 3 is also selected. So that's multi-select actually. So if you have options, let's say you want to, let's run that again, but without, so let's close that one. Okay, so I want to remove this one. So I want it only to select number 1 and number 3. So run. As you can see, yeah. So number 1 and number 3 is selected. Now let's go to the one that is similar, right? So okay, so that is that. So that is how to select options. So like a drop down. So one that's also similar to it is this one. If you scroll down, is this one. But this one, you can only select one item at a time. You cannot do multi-select on it. So, and let's see, it's the same similar thing, but of course, if you select multiple times, it's going to change the option. So let's look into that. Right click, inspect. If your inspector is 43, is the ID. So let's go, and we need to do the same thing, but this time around I will leave all the comments out, and I will start from here. Like I said, also this is not also required. You don't need to write that. So I would write from here. So this is now another one. which is 3C, but now say 3C. One. Okay, select down list. So now, as you can see, this is going to be underlined. So because I have got one here. So this is a different element. So and I can't instantiate two objects at the same time. So, but of course, it's going to be a different element that I want to find out. So I need to call it a different name. I can say drop down, or call it, let's say, let's say it's a country. Sometimes that's what it could be used for. So you can have different country. If in a essence, maybe that's okay. Hold on, let's think there's another one with one. Yeah. Oh, okay. So there was one. Okay. Okay. Alright, let's say it's a country, so we call it the country, but it's not anyway, but that's fine. Just to make sure. So I think we inspected this is 47, if I still remember. Okay, it's 43. Okay, so let's copy. Okay, that's that. Then the next one is this. Okay, or however, it's going to be country. Okay, so now let's say we select 2. So with lowercase 2. Okay, so that's it. So if we do another one, and we said okay, we want to be clever, and we also select 3 also, and see what is going to happen. Okay, let's run that. See, as you can see, it's only selecting 1. It selects the 1 and then select like that. So that's what's going to happen. It's going to be replaced. So that's what is done. So okay, now we're going to be a bit clever, right? For those people that are interested in also a bit of tidying up, but this is still okay. But in some cases, maybe you Google, you don't see them using this find select element. It's possible you don't need to use it. In some instances, you can merge everything together. So what you could do is, like, as you can see, country is equal to this. So what you can do is copy that country and replace it with that one. So for you, what I've done is, because now I don't need this one again, I can decide to put that. So this will do the same thing like this one is done. So now I've got only one line. Let's say I'm only interested in one, so I only got one line for this. So instead of saying select element country is equal to this and also do this for the same, so I now put everything together in one line, because my country that I've done is this. I just replaced it with that. Then I now did what I need to do on that country. So this is another way to do it. So, and the same way you can do the same thing for this one. So, and you should just know how that works. So let's do that again, running. See, as you can see, so you select the two. So let's go to the next one. Let's try to see now radio button. Radio button is easy. It's as simple as just click on the right one. So let's go. You right click. Let's inspect the elements. So when you inspect the element, so the name of the element, that's the field, but we're interested in the input. So it's not the label. We're interested in the input, so you need to know which one that is, because you are not interested in the label, you're interested in the radio button, and which is the one that's been highlighted. So, and the ID is that. So, and it's got name also. So let's go ahead. So now, how to click a radio button? How to click a radio button? The first thing you need to do is, like I said, 3D. It's going to be the same thing that we've done before. Inspect your elements. Inspect your elements for the radio. So, but you're going to be looking at the Maran. So then copy the selector. I think this is the selector instead of attribute. We copy the selector. So, and let's copy the XPath. So what's that? Okay, this is the XPath. Then, okay, that is D now. Number D. Okay. The fifth one, then we need to write the code to find the element. So let's do that. To write the code to find the element, the first thing we said, we don't need this one. Just find it actually. So what we need is driver dot find element by XPath. We decided we're going to use. So okay. So like I said, you have two options to do this. Is it that you change that to single quotes, if you are copying experts, I would advise you copy somewhere like this, or so that you can edit what you want to edit, like edit it from here. Because if you copy it like that, as you've seen, it's going to change the format. So then you can now copy it from here and paste it in your code. So this is, this will find that element, and then you need to now click on that element. 3D 65. So okay. Okay, now you could also be clever and say iWeb element. So this is my radio. Is equal to. So now in there you can say radio dot click. So this is the same thing as what we've done before, like you doing this dot click. So, and you can, so for this you don't need this. For then you can just write everything like this, or you can write it in two places, like that and that one. So depending on which one you favor. So because I think this is kind of a bit tidy. So because with this now you can still use page object module, so you can decide to push this into your page object class, and then you call this in that test. So it's a different thing. Then all your elements is going to be stored in a different class, so that you can be able to manage it from there, and then you can call the object from a different class. So that's another way to do it if you are technical. But if not, I will just say don't bother. Comment this one out and this one out. This is sufficient. Okay. So now the next step that we don't need to run it. It should run. So that quickly we go to the next one. So we've done the radio button, which is that. So, and it's similar to this one. So the same thing also applies to this one. You just need to click on it. That's it. There's no anything. So for text box, you don't need to do much. So let's look into paragraph. Okay. Now, paragraphs. So it's the same thing. Say we call this 3E. Typing into a paragraph text box. What's it called? Let's go. So in the same way, driver dot find elements. Find dot. Let's see. CSS. Then what do? We send keys. So I see this step, find your element. So what you are saying is, driver, find my element. How can I find your element for you? Find my element by CSS selector, which element are you finding? I'm finding this element with this CSS selector. Then okay, I have found it for you. So what do you want me to do to read? I want to type something inside that element that you found. So to type something, you need to say find element. So what do you want to type into it? So yeah, you put what you want to type inside. So what's my long paragraph ends here. Okay, then you put your semicolon at the end. Okay, so that is that. Okay, so I think that then the last one, it's you clicking on the submit button. So let's go down and look at the submit button. So that is 37. So it's the same way also. Driver dot find elements by dot, let's say we use name. What is the name? But if you are using name, make sure you confirm that that name is unique actually, so otherwise it can be conflicting. So if there's name, okay, that's brilliant. So there's no name. So as you can see, you can't just decide on what you need to use. You need to check the properties of that particular attribute. So you need to see there's no name. So let's go with ID and use the ID with, so okay, dot ID. Then dot click. Okay, so then let's run it. All right, cool. So that's it. So that's it. So we can now enable that so that it can close. So this is everything that you need to know for this test. So let's create another test that will do the validation. So but we're going to copy what is required from that one. So let's go and create a new test, new. So this test now does the validation. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy the previous one, then remove things that are not required, tidy up this test so without all these commented lines. So, and this is the test, so I'm going to change it to validate test. So let me remove, I need to add a using Selenium. the by clause. We need to add using the selector. We need to add that also. So this is one open URL. Let me know with time, so I don't need to do this. So okay. Alright, cool. Okay, so this is all the tests there is. So for the one that we did before. So the next one before we close the screen is for us to validate. So it's for us to validate the form. Let's say we click on submit button, and then we can confirm that this particular error message is displayed. So let's inspect the admin success message rather. So and inspect, let's go to CSX. So let's find out. Okay, so that is a message that we're looking for. So now what we need to do is driver dot find element by dot I think CSS. So but now we want to confirm if that element is displayed. So now this will find this element, that element for us, but we want to confirm that the element is displayed, like validate if message is displayed. So for us to do that, the first thing that we need to do is find the element. Okay, that's step one. Find the element. This will do that for us. That is what that is going to do. Then the second one, step two, is to before add the action. To perform. So with that, we can action that we want to perform on the element is we want to check if is displayed. So we can say dot at the end. Dot. Where's that? Dot display. That's that. Oh, sorry. I think this is issue. This is supposed to be without S. So upload this further. Dot, then you get different concepts here. So then display. Okay, so that would bring true or false for you. Okay, so if you look at that, it's going to say, yeah, it's going to be true or false for you anyway. So then the next step, now you assert the displayed object. So to do that, you need to say assert dot. So in normal situation, if you say assert, it's going to bring if you do that, it might bring underline for you, so you can now add the assert using assert and unit assert, but that's fine, this is okay. So then what you need to do now, you need to assert if it's true. Assert is true. So what is true? You want to get this, what we've seen here. So we want to assert if that is displayed. Like I said, this is the one at the top. It just for clarity's sake, you don't need that actually. So even if you leave that, it's not going to work. So the step that you need is this one and this one. For you to do that, you need, let's say, step 3 on that. So that is going to assert that. So then also you can add your comment. If it fails, which message do you want to? This is okay. Let's say that one is fine. I will do another one. So this time around, this is a different one, but I'm going to now put a message. Let me reduce the screen. So that is the one. So what this is saying is like, if the element is not displayed, then your test will fail and this error message would be displayed. So let's run the test. I'll put a breakpoint at the end. So the breakpoint should stop at the end. Oh, okay, no, that's not the one I should run. That's the previous one. So let me stop that test. So this is the one I want to run. Okay, so there's no such element, so which is fine. That brings me to the next one. So let me put the breakpoint at where it's failing, and then I can be able to show you what will be the cause. So and let's run that one again. Okay, so okay, let's continue. Okay. Oh, it failed. Okay, that's why it says. Cannot locate the. Okay, you cannot locate the element. So, but however, this is not required anyway, so this is sufficient. So we're only using this as an example, but that also would make this one to fail anyway because it cannot find the element. So let's see what that is. Let's see what that issue with that element. Which is this one. Okay, it's there. Okay, let's put a breakpoint. Okay, know what that could be. Let's put a breakpoint here and now go back and debug the code. Okay, so that is code and this is displayed. Let's see if it can now find it. Alright, cool. So it's passed. That also passed. Sorry. So yeah, that brings me to the issues that we've been looking into last week. So that passed. So let's see what that. Okay, that's fine. But there's issue with that. If you run it without the debug mode, it's going to fail. It's going to fail. You need to look carefully. It's going to fail because this is still saying processing. Yeah, but it takes time for this page to load, and then before then your test already moved to try to assert that element is found. Because of that, it's not able to assert because this particular message is not yet uploaded. So what do? You wait for that element to appear. One, there's different way to do that. So now we're going to move into different part, which is waiting. So what do? The first point of wait is to put thread.sleep. It's not for new start. Yes, I would advise you to do that just to keep on going. So thread.sleep for 1 second. For 1 second. If you want to do 5 seconds, that's that. So then also there's also explicit and implicit wait. and also their flange weight. So let's look into this first thread. Let's put 5 seconds there and see what happens. Oh, sorry. I think I need to solve that one first. No. So there's, I need to add using system threading. See, as you can see, the issue was the weight. So we just put 5 seconds wait and it passed. So we're going to go into explicit and implicit wait for the next. So we just take a break while I charge my laptop. So 1 minute. All right, we're going to look at different type of weights. So we're going to look at implicit weight, explicit weight, and we're going to look at fluent weight. One weight that we need to look into that we've done is the thread sleeve. I would advise you not to use it if you are kind of professional, but it does work as you can see. But if you don't know what to do and your test is failing because of some issues, and I think you can put sleep there for a few minutes just to ascertain what the issue is, then you can remove it later. Okay, let's go through other type of weights. So the first one that we're going to look into is the implicit weight. So it's to tell your driver to pull the DOM for a certain amount of time when it's trying to find an element. So when you are looking for an element and it's not finding it on time, so your driver will wait for that time that you specified. So let's make it, let's create a method for that purpose. So, okay, all right, cool. Don't worry, I think so that I don't confuse a lot of people. I'm going to write it inside this particular test, then we refactor it into another class. So let's write. So I'm going to comment this one out. As you know, if I comment this one out, my test is going to fail because that particular element I'm looking for has not been loaded before I do my assertion. So I need to wait. So this element, it's not yet loaded. So that failed. So okay, so let's try to use a different method. So the first one I said is implicit weight. Implicit weight. For implicit weight, so this tells your WebDriver to pull wait for certain elements. So by default, this is set to 0. So when do you actually need to use this? So let's ask the question, when do I need to wait? When do I need to wait? Or when is it required? Yeah. For your page to load. As you can see, that is 1, then 2, for JavaScript. It is favor. Okay, so this is a different time you can, I think you could need it. So let's now go to the implicit wait now. Implicit wait. So how do you use it? So we've got our driver, we call the driver dot manage, then open a close, then implicit. No, sorry, dot timeout. Then implicit wait. Then you can now set the time that you want it to wait. So let's say it's 10 seconds. Time. Time. I think no, I think I'm not. Okay, I think the right one is time span. Yeah. Time span, time second. Okay, so I think this is and how many seconds? This is 60 seconds. This is 30 seconds. 10. Oh, sorry, I think this is wrong. So this is now. Okay. That's fine. Yes. Oh, sorry, implicitly. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah. Oh man, let me just check the code. So it's okay. So it's basically implicit weight is equal to that. So you just assign the. So this is how to use the implicit weight, and let's see how it's going to work. So you just in. So this is set for all your tests. So once you put it in a place, so it's set for all your tests. By default, it is 0. But what you are now saying is that for all your tests now, to wait for 10 seconds to find an element. So this is going to make all your tests to be slower, because everywhere your element is waiting for an element and it's not finding it, it's going to be waiting for 10 seconds every time. So unlike when you want to specify that it's only going to wait for this particular element. So this is the first way of doing a wait after the sleep, thread or sleep. Let's run this and see what's going to happen, if that's going to solve the issue. Okay, all right, that is fine. As you can see, if I remove that weight, then I run it again, that would fail. So that's filling. So that's purpose of the weight. So let's fix it back. Then the next one that I'm going to talk about is explicit weight in and how to use it. Okay, cool. So now let's talk about the explicit weight. So explicit weight is now you're going to say your WebDriver should wait for this element. So it's attributed to an element. For the implicit one, you are not actually saying, you are not telling the web element to wait for any element. So it's going to be waiting for all the elements that you have in your test, but which is not really great. But you want to be able to explicitly state that, oh, only wait for this element, and the other one you should not wait for them. So to do that, I will need to say we need to use the web driver wait to use the driver element wait. Then you put wait is equal to new web driver wait. So then you pass your driver that we've done into it, and your time span dot, then number of seconds that you want to wait, or minutes. Then let's say we are only interested in 10 seconds. That is the first step. Then the second step that you need to do is to put your func delegate. No, what's that? Func I web driver. Which element you want to wait for? So you want to, which element that you want to wait for? So we want to wait for this element. So let's replace that one. Come in. Okay, so then if it's fine, then return true. So that's fine. Okay, so this is basically the code. To be honest, you don't need to worry about that. You just need to know what you need to put in there. So this is the element that we're waiting for. So this can be changed to any other element that you want to wait for. So you just need to replace it with different elements. And also, if you want to be clever, you can as well put your element somewhere, and then you call it from here. So let's go and run this and see. Let's comment this one out. We know this works, so then let's run this one. Okay, let's see what that does. So that failed. So let's see what the issue is. So it's failed. Yeah. Let's see what that returns. Okay. So that still fails anyway. So if you put, let's say, 30 seconds in there and see what happens. Before then, let's look at the code properly. So you wait for element. So if it doesn't work, we look at the last part, which is the one that I normally use, to be honest, which is the flange wait. Okay, all right, don't worry. Let's talk about the third one. This is number one. This is no. This is thread dot sleep is number one. Where's that? This is number one. And this is number two. This is number three. Number four. We're going to talk about fluent weight. Okay. And number five, we're going to talk about using predicates. Okay. All right. So I think we should stop here, to be honest. So, but we found that the explicit way did not work for the one that we've done. We're going to look at it next week, but we've been able to use the explicit one. It does work anyway. Okay, so for the next one, we look into fluent weight and also using predicate, and also what we're going to expand from this one. What we've done right now, we're going to now extract that and put it in a page object. So for this class, what we've been able to establish, we've been able to now cover most of the forms that we know, which is, where is the website? So we've been able to use most, I think. Yeah. Okay, next week we'll work on this, and you can also look into that, how to use dates. So next week you will do the dates, and also you can also look on before we come back, so see if you can use dates. So we use dates, and then I think we'll cover the other forms, other elements. So that's that, and we've done clicks on the previous one. So okay, I think if you so for the training, I think we are kind of getting to the end of the training. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay. Any question? So we'll we'll see later. So if you have any recording, so it just got disconnected. All right. Talk to you guys later. So we talk next week. Yeah. Bye.